श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Can you add Rukmini ji to spotlight? So which means we need to know who's who. Okay. So let us chant from 21. निराशीर्यत चित्तात्मा
Yes, Dekmadi. Nirashiriyat vichitatma
त्यक्त सर्व परिग्रहः
त्यक्त सर्व परिग्रहः
शारीरं केवलं कर्म
शारीरं केवलं कर्म
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्
यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टः
यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टः
द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः
द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः
समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च
समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च
कृत्वापि न निबध्यते
कृत्वापि न विबध्यते
गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य
गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य
ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः
ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः
यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म
यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म
समग्रं प्रविलीयते
समग्रं प्रविलीयते
ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविः
ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविः
ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतम्
ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं
ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम्
ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम्
ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना.
ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना.
Yeah. So let us continue. Rukmini ji, if you can remain there. So now we're going to read the Bhashya. From this Atra Kechit Ahuhu. So the notes that we had given you, I think we could have done better. I did not pay enough attention to that because it's all one big, huge 2 pages of text. So it's difficult to find out where are we doing, what is when is the sentence starting, where is the sentence ending. So difficult to find out. I apologize for that. So how many of you are following the English version? English version. Okay, a few of you. So Vijayji, I thought you were studying Sanskrit. I'm surprised you're still following the English version. Okay. You are in the same class. I see you discussing. And so, okay, anyway, that's fine. So anyway, English version. English version, you have one dot, a sentence ending with one dot, and then a sentence ending with 2 dots. So you may wonder, what is this 2 dots? I've seen ellipses with 3 dots, but this 2 dots I've never seen before, you know. So the 2 dots is just a translation of the 2 lines you have in Sanskrit. It's an ending of a shloka, of a paragraph, things like that. So could have been better, I think. I saw it a couple of days ago and then I wondered, you know, it's so difficult to. So let's see. Atra kechit ahuhu. Is everybody there at that point? Let me ask that question. Yeah, most of you are there. Sharada ji. Hmm? Yeah, everybody is there. Atra kechit ahuhu. So if you've been following the classes, I think you may have made a note there. That's what we're going to start chanting. Okay. So yeah, Vijay ji go. Vijay Sundaram ji.
Sir, I'm still searching the text, so please let others start and I will find out.
Okay, all right. Who is next? Narasimha. Atra kechidahuhu
अत्र केचिदाहुः
yat brahma
यत् ब्रह्मा
tadarpanadini
तत् अर्पणादीनि
brahma eva kila
ब्रह्म एव किल
arpanadina
अर्पणादिना
panchavidhena
पञ्चविधेन
karakatmana
कारकात्मना
vyavasthitam sat
व्यवस्थितं सत्
tadeva karma karoti
तदेव कर्म करोति
tatra
तत्र
na arpanadi buddhihi
न अर्पणादि बुद्धिः
nivartyate
निवर्त्यते
किंतु
किन्तु
अर्पणादिषु
अर्पणादिषु
ब्रह्म बुद्धिः अधीयते.
ब्रह्म बुद्धिः अधीयते.
Yeah, if you didn't find the notes, just repeat. You know, I'm making it easy enough that you can just repeat what I'm saying. Yatha
यथा
pratimadau
प्रतिमाधौ
Vishnuadi buddhihi
विष्णुवादि बुद्धिः
यथा वा
यथा वा
नामादौ
नामाधौ
ब्रह्म बुद्धिः इति.
ब्रह्म बुद्धिः इति.
So one of the things we do is we do a Parayanam of Shankara Bhashyam. Okay, that's also you know, those of us who study Shankara Bhashyam, we do a Parayanam of Shankara Bhashyam. And so you can imagine how much commitment there is and how much we rely on Shankara's words and how much we look upon his words as pramanam. And so it's good to we get used to these kinds of things as we study the Shastra. Okay. So we are looking at Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. That shloka we are looking at. And Shankara spent some time commenting on the shloka. And we are at a point where Shankara is beginning to, having explained the shloka, he is bringing in a Purva Pakshi. Means somebody who does not agree with what Shankara says. And he brings it. It's a mock debate. A mock debate is going to start. Okay. And Shankara is famous for that. And he doesn't do it every time. The shlokas we studied, see, the shloka happens to be a bit unique. So all this bit long explanation, and then some debate is going to start, and back and forth it's going to go. And it doesn't go for long also. In some places, it's a long debate, back and forth, back and forth. It will take us, weeks to finish that. But here, it's not that. It's not like that. Briefly, there is a debate. So, atra kechit ahuhu. So here some people say, that is what? In this context, some people say, some people interpret the shloka differently. And I was explaining this last time in the last class. In order to understand the shloka, the background we need to understand. So what we studied, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, is there is a piece of cloth. There is a rectangular piece of cloth. Okay, I'm going to give you a different example. Big rectangular piece of cloth, and Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi says, hey, this cloth is nothing but cotton. Correct? This cloth is, it's 100% cotton, assume so. Okay, this cloth is nothing but cotton. Cotton is satyam, the cloth is mithya. Correct? That cloth, that rectangular piece of cloth is mithya. And what is satyam? All the fibers are satyam. And then this cloth, the cotton is satyam. Cotton is satyam. That is what it says. Okay. Cotton is satyam. Cloth is mithya. Correct? Cloth is mithya because there is no separate object called cloth separate from cotton. Please understand that. Cloth exists, but really speaking, it borrows its existence from cotton. Therefore, the cloth is nothing but cotton. That is what Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi says, except in a different language, using this instrument, using the yajna as an example. It is saying the same thing. The action is mithya, the results are mithya. All the things are used to perform action are all mithya. Okay, so it says the cloth is cotton. That is what we interpreted this shloka as. But then atra kechit ahuhu, he's going to say, now that cloth that I talked to you about is actually a flag. Okay, that's why I said big rectangular piece of cloth. Now you're wondering, why this big rectangular piece of cloth? Why don't you pick a angavastram or something, or shirt, as good? Yeah, shirt is also good. But I was thinking of a flag. Now I'm going to bring the flag here. That flag is 100% cotton. I understand that. But now he comes and says, no, that shloka is not talking about the flag being 100% cotton. That shloka is talking about taking that piece of cloth and then projecting your country on that cloth. Okay, are you all with me now? It's not an ordinary piece of cloth. It's a flag, and you have to project your country on it. That means what? Everything the country stands for, whatever is there in the constitution, whatever aspirations you have, your entire history, all the struggles that the freedom fighters went through, everything is there on this piece of cloth. Correct? That is why I can just look at the piece of cloth and then I can salute. You look at your pant and then you don't salute like this. Nobody salutes your pant. You can say, it's nicely pressed and ironed. I'm going to enjoy wearing the pant. That you can say, but you don't, it's not a sacred thing. Flag means no, it's too much. It's the entire country. And we all stand erect also. You can't simply, do like this and, you can't do this. So erect and then salute. So he says, Atra Kechit Ahu. What do they say? This Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi is not about cloth and cotton. It's about cloth and country. You have to, it's looking upon all these ladle and Agni and everything as Vishnu, as Brahma. You look upon it as Brahma. Cloth is not your country. How do you know cloth is not country? Well, you burn the cloth. Country is burning or what? No, country doesn't burn if you burn the flag. Flag is burned means maybe you get a punishment because it's considered sacred. But otherwise, nobody will notice it. Country doesn't burn. You can burn flags if you want. Therefore, flag is really not country. But then I look upon the flag as a country. Correct? As my country. Just like in my puja room, I look upon a small piece of stone as Vishnu. And I will do Abhishekam to that Vishnu. I will chant Narayana Suttam. Om. I will chant Sahasrasirisham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam Vishwan Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam. Just a piece of stone, that's all. But I offer everything I have to that piece of stone. There I'm looking upon the stone as Vishnu. I project Vishnu. Clean projection. Like I project the country on this piece of cloth. And therefore it is called a flag. It has a different name and it's called a flag. Okay. So this person says, this is it's pure projection. It's a meditation. You close your eyes and you meditate on all this Arpanam and Agni and Havis and so forth. You meditate on it as Brahma. It's not Brahma really speaking, but you meditate on it as Brahma. Correct? Understand the difference between the two. In one case, Arpanam is Brahma. There is nothing to meditate. It's a fact. It is like wave is water. You don't have to meditate that wave is water. You have to understand that wave is water. But he's saying, no, it's not like that. Wave cannot be. The cloth is not cotton. I don't agree with that. Krishna is saying that Arpanam should be meditated as Brahma. Okay. Now, this is the gist of this whole sentence that we chanted, couple of sentences. He says, I'm not going to go word by word. And he says, Yatha, at the end, he says, Yatha Pratimadau Vishnuadi Buddhihi. Correct? End of the sentence that we chanted. Yatha. Yatha means just as. And that Purva Pakshi is explaining. How, like what? How should you see this ladle and Agni and all that? Just like Pratimadav, in that piece of stone in your puja room, you are going to have Vishnu. You are going to look upon it as Vishnu, the great Vishnu. Sthitikarta Vishnu, the one who sustains this whole universe. That Vishnu I am projecting on that small piece of stone. Like that. Some people say Atra Kechit Ahu. Okay. And the rest I'm not going to. This is the gist. And so this is what he's saying. Atra Kechit Ahu. Now Shankara is going to respond to this. He stated the objection. And he's going to respond to that. Okay. So we're going to chant that. Vijayji, are you ready? You're not ready yet. Okay. So you attended class, but notes are missing. All right. Who is next? Srividya. You can unmute yourself. Okay, we're going to continue. Okay. Satyam.
Satyam.
Evam api syat.
Evam api syat.
Yadi.
Yadi.
Jnana yajnastutyartham.
Jnana yajnastutyartham.
Prakaranam na syat.
Prakaranam na syat.
Atratu.
Atratu.
Samyak darshanam.
Samyak darshanam.
Jnana Yajna Shabditam
ज्ञानयज्ञशब्दितम्
Anekan
अनेकान्
Yajna Shabditan
यज्ञशब्दितान्
Kriya Visheshan
क्रियाविशेषान्
Upanyasya
उपन्यस्य
Shreyan
श्रेयान्
Dravyamayat Yajnat
द्रव्यमया यज्ञात्
Dravyamayat Yajnat
द्रव्यमयात् यज्ञात्
Jnana Yajnaha
ज्ञानयज्ञः
Iti Jnanam Stauti.
इति ज्ञानं स्तौति
Atra cha
अत्र च
Samartham idam
समर्थमिदं
Vachanam
वचनं
Brahmarpanam ityadi
ब्रह्मार्पणम् इत्यादि
Jnanasya
ज्ञानस्य
Yajnatva Sampadane.
यज्ञत्व संपादने
Okay, we'll stop at that. So, Shankara is responding. Siddhanta. This is called Siddhanti is responding. Okay. Based on that, you understood the difference now. What are the two things you understood? One is cloth is cotton, another is cloth is country. And two differences, right? Big difference it is. It's a big difference. One is talking about the truth of the cloth. The other is talking about looking upon the cloth as something else. Understood? Don't forget that. Understood? Okay. Now, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with looking upon a cloth as something else. We do that. Flag means that. Looking upon the cloth as something else, something bigger. And we do that in our puja room. Nothing wrong with that. But this sloka, does it mean this or that? That is the question Shankara wants to bring up. So he says, Shankara says, Satyam. Satyam means true. You're right. You're right. In fact, evam api syat, he says. He says, you would have been right. You would have been right. Means you're not right. This is so interesting, my God. So you would have been right. This would have been so, yadi, if. And he's going to put a big if there. Okay. Jnana yajna stutyartham prakaranam na syat. You would have been right if this prakaranam, this whole exposition of Krishna in this chapter would not have been to praise knowledge. If Krishna had not praised the knowledge of Atma, knowledge of Brahma, then you would have been correct. That is what he said. It's like saying, it's patting on the back. Come on, beta, very good. Keep it up. Keep it up. It's a wrong answer, but keep it up. That is how he has responded. Okay. So then he says, Atra tu, on the other hand, here, Samyak Darshanam. Samyak Darshanam is a technical word which means proper vision, proper knowledge. Samyak means proper, correct. Darshanam means vision. Vision means knowledge. Proper knowledge is what is the context here. And Jnana Yajna Shabditam. And then he says, Samyak Darshanam is what Krishna is talking about. And then he is telling something. Iti Jnanam Stauti, at the end of that sentence, Iti Jnanam Stauti. Correct? You saw that, right? Iti Jnanam Stauti. So Jnanam Stauti means the knowledge is praised. I mean, he praises knowledge. Krishna praises knowledge. How does he praise knowledge? He's quoting verse number 33. Okay, 33 of the verse he's quoting, and he's saying, Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajna. He's quoting that. You have to put that in quotes if it is not in quotes. Okay, so there what he says is Jnana Yajna. He is bringing a new word called Jnana Yajna, and he's praising Jnana Yajna. Means the discipline of knowledge. Jnana Yajna means discipline of knowledge. Okay, he's praising compared to what? And then he says, if you look at the next shloka onwards, Daivam eva pare yajnam, like that, it starts next shloka. Then Shrotradin Indriyani, the shloka after that. Then Sarvan Indriya Karmani, Atma Samyama Yogagno, Apane Juhvati Prana. He is going to give a list of yajnas that we have to practice. So he's going to talk about pranayama. And he says some people, what they do is they do pranayama, they will inhale the breath and then exhale the breath and then inhale again and exhale. And then they will look upon the inhalation as an offering to the prana. And then they will look upon the exhalation as an offering to the world, because the exhaled air is reaching the world, going outside. He's saying that kind of meditation they do, that kind of yajna they do. Not meditation, that kind of yajna they do. So he's going to say all that, and he's going to say, compared to all those yajnas, this jnana yajna is shreyan. Shreyan means what? Superior. Superior. He's giving that argument. That knowing the reality of an object is the most important thing. It is superior. Even though all the other yajnas are also important, this is the most important. This is what really liberates you. That is what he is saying there. Okay. So that's what kriya visheshan anekan yajna shabditan kriya visheshan. Anekan, many yajnas are going to be talked about by Krishna, and concluding with the praise of the jnana yajna. Okay, that is what he is going to say. All right, then let's read the next one. Who's next? Sharada. What happened? Where is she? Can you, Sharada, raise your hand? I thought you were here in the class.
Our video is not on.
Oh, okay. It is not on. Okay, yeah, we can. Somebody else can do. Who else would like to do next? Yeah, Bhagya, Balaji, and Bhagya 2, etc. Okay, Balaji, let's start with you. Yeah, so we actually did Atracha, Jnanasya, etc. Idam Brahmarpanam Ityadi, Samartham. So he's saying Samartham, I did not explain that to you. Samartham, it is proper to interpret the Brahmarpanam shloka in the context of what we are talking about. And Jnana Yajnasya Yajnatva Sampadane, it is proper to interpret this in the way I've told you. That is what he's saying there. Let's read the next sentence. Anyatha Sarvasya Brahmatve Arpanadinameva Visheshatah Brahmatva Abhidhanam Anarthakam Syat Yetu Arpanadishu Pratimayam Vishnu Drishtivat Brahma Drishtihi Kshipyate Namadishu Ivacha Iti Bruvate Na Tesham Brahma Vidya Iha Ukta Vivakshita Syat Arpanadi Vishayatvat Jnanasya. Yeah, we're going to stop there. So he's continuing. Shankara is responding to that Purva Pakshi with the word Anyatha. So Anyatha says Anyatha. Otherwise, if we don't interpret the way I do, okay, then what will happen is, when everything is Brahma, And you can look upon anything as Brahma. If your meditation is important, then anything can be Brahma. And this specifically bringing in this yajna is really not relevant. It could have been different, he's saying. Shankara is saying, can be anything else. Why you bring about this Arpanam, Agni, Havis, Ityadi, he's saying. And he says, Yetu Arpanadi Pratimayam Vishnu Drishtivat Brahma Drishti Kshipyate. So those who project that projection of Brahma on this Kriya Karaka Phala. Kriya Karaka Phala means this yajna. The minute you bring yajna, you have to bring the entire world. So those who want to project Brahma onto the world, instead of seeing the world as Brahma, correct? Everybody is with me. Those who want to do that, then he says there is a problem. What is the problem? Iti bruvate tesham. I moved on to the second sentence. Iti bruvate, those who say that, and there is a namadishu ivacha. So previously there is Vishnu drishtivat Brahma drishti. Just like I project Vishnu, on my saligrama, like that those who say I must project Brahma on the world. And Chakra would have said, hey, the world itself we are projecting on Brahma. Now we are saying you project Brahma on the world. So it is one projection, and then on top of that another projection is there. And those who say that, he says, Brahma Vidya iha ukta. Ya Brahma Vidya iha ukta, sa vivakshita na syat. Hey, this topic is Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means Atma Vidya. Atma Vidya means knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of Atma. But you are talking about meditation, and that doesn't fit here. Therefore, he says, Vivakshita nasyat. So, he says Brahma Vidya is the context, and you are bringing in meditation. Even though meditation is important, it can come in another context, but not in this context. Okay. Arpanadishu Vishayatvat Jnanasya. So in that context, it doesn't come. That is what he's concluding there. Now, the Purva Pakshi is going to say, what is wrong with meditation? Shankara, I don't, what is the problem? And you're saying we should not project, and this projection we do all the time. And Upasanam, so he's saying, so what is wrong with all this? Krishna is going to do, don't you know, Shankara, 11th chapter is Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, and the whole Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga is Krishna is going to show his cosmic form. And this cosmic form, you look at it, the entire cosmos, the people are there, all the terrorists are there, all death is happening, animals are there, plant kingdom is there, all planets are moving around, and the stars are breaking apart, and there is all kinds of stuff. And Krishna is saying, everything is me, and you have to look at me in everything. This is a big meditation, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Shankara, have you forgotten all this? It's unfair that you're saying all this. You're not accepting my argument. And he says, that much Upasanam is going to come in the 11th chapter. And so you cannot disagree with me. That's what the opponent is saying. Okay. And Shankara says, yeah, you're right, my dear, you're right. And yeah, Upasanam is going to come. And even in Taittiriya Upanishad also, there are Upasanams. Chandogya Upanishad, there is Upasanam. Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhuritiva ayam lokaha bhuva ityantariksham suvarityasau lokaha. Like that he says. So Bhurbhuva Suvaha is called Vyahriti Upasana. So Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha. So in our culture, we have these three things, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. It covers the entire world. Bhuhu means this earth. Bhuvaha means the world that's far away. And Suvaha is the world in between, which essentially means the entire cosmos. And so this Taittiriya Upanishad says you can meditate on these words, bhuhu, bhuvaha, suvaha. You meditate the world on these words, these sounds. All this is there, I know. Upanishad talks about it, Bhagavad Gita talks about it, other Upanishads talk about it, I know. And then of course there is Bhuvpadav Yasya Nabir Vyada Sura Nilas Chandra Surya Uchanetre. How many of you can recognize that? Yeah, so more than half of you can recognize. So Vishnu Sahasranamam, there is Dhyana Shloka. Bhuvpadav, Bhuvpadav, that Bhu, this earth. So Vishnu Sahasranamam, when we chant, we're going to chant 1008 names of Vishnu. And before that, there is something called Dhyana Shloka. Dhyana Shloka means you have to visualize Vishnu first. First visualize Vishnu, then you offer your pranams to Vishnu. Okay, you have to, when you greet somebody, you have recognized somebody, your friend has come, and then you say hello, etc. So you recognize Vishnu, then you do your chanting. So Bhuvpadav, how do you recognize Vishnu? He says, the earth, Bhu, let it be the 2 feet of Vishnu. Imagine Vishnu, and then this earth on which I am sitting right now, that earth is symbolizes the 2 feet of Vishnu, correct? 2 feet of Vishnu. Bhuvpadav, Yasya, one whose 2 feet are the earth. Yasya Nabihi Viyat. Okay, Viyat means sky. And the sky, what about, look upon the sky as the navel of Vishnu. Look upon the sky as the navel of Vishnu. Bhuvpadav Yasya Nabir Vyada Sura Anilaha. Asuhu Anilaha. Then what? Then this wind that is there, that is, you can see the wind, you can feel the wind. That wind, look at it as the breath, the prana, the life breath of Vishnu. Correct? Wind is there everywhere. Here it is there, everywhere it is there. And that's the life breath of Vishnu. Vyada Sura Nilas Chandra Surya Uchanetre. Okay, then there is the sun and there is the moon. Look at them as the 2 eyes of Vishnu. Correct? This is Pakka Dhyanam, pure Dhyanam, beautiful Dhyanam. Correct? So I understand. Shankara says, yeah, I know where you're coming from. I understand. He's telling the Purva Pakshi, yeah, Dhyanam is very important. We do it. And but then Shankara says, let's read what Shankara says. Okay. Sharada ji, are you there? Ready to chant? Okay. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are moving on to the next sentence. Nacha.
I'm starting it. I was taken by the I was looking into your
Bhuvpadav. You're visualizing Vishnu.
yeah. That's true, sir.
I
And
disturbed
I
you
was
from your
looking that
meditation.
I was wondering that on the meaning of it, and I was just trying to imagine, so I lost this.
Correct. Good. Very nice. So you can
Appreciate.
nacha
Nacha
drishti sampadana jnanena
drishti sampadana jnanena
moksha phalam prapyate
moksha phalam prapyate
brahma eva tena gantavyam
brahma eva tena gantavyam
iti cha uchyate
iti cha uchyate
viruddham cha
viruddham cha
samyak darshanam antarena moksha phalam prapyate iti.
moksha phalam prapyate iti.
Okay. So to that objection by the Purva Pakshi, why are you opposed to this idea of mine that you must project Brahma on this world? Why are you objecting to that? And Shankara says, yeah, I know it's very important. This meditation is so important for us. But then Shankara says, nacha Drishti sampadana jnanena moksha phalam prapyate. You can do whatever meditation you want, you can do whatever projection you want, but by projecting like this, by meditating, you cannot get moksha. Last class I mentioned it, right? Some of you may remember it. So meditation cannot give you moksha. Why? Because upasanam, the technical word for meditation in Sanskrit is either dhyanam or upasanam. Upasanam cannot give you moksha. That is what he said. Upasanam can prepare me. Meditation can prepare me, prepare my mind. It can give me antakarana shuddhi. It can prepare me to begin to assimilate this Brahma Vidya. But directly it cannot give me moksha. That is what he's saying here. Nacha drishti sampadana jnanena moksha phalam prapyate. Moksha phalam na prapyate. Bring the na from the beginning of the sentence, put it at the end of the sentence. Na prapyate. Moksha phalam na prapyate. Okay. Then, okay, moksha phalam na prapyate. Purvapakshi. Now you should imagine that Purvapakshi is saying, okay, moksha phalam na prapyate. So okay, but still let this Brahmarpanam be about the meditation, about dhyanam. Let it be. So what? Okay, let it not give moksha. That's fine. And then to that Shankara is responding with the next sentence. Brahma eva tena gantavyam iti cha uchyate. He says no, you can't talk like that, because in that same shloka, Brahma eva tena gantavyam iti uchyate. He says, Krishna says, the one who appreciates the world as Brahma reaches Brahma. He says, means gains Brahma, means everything is Brahma, and that fact is understood, and that Brahma is moksha, and one gains moksha by that. That is what Krishna is saying in that same shloka itself. Therefore, you cannot say, let us meditate, let us interpret this as meditation, and even if there is no moksha involved in this, let there be no moksha involved. That is what is a technical argument is making. Okay. Oh, then you should imagine the Purvapakshi saying, okay, then that means meditation gives moksha. Krishna is saying that if you meditate in this way, moksha will be gained. That's what Krishna is saying. That's what Krishna is saying. That's how the Purvapakshi talks. The opponent says. Then Shankara has to remind him, no. You did not listen to what I said. Upasanam cannot give moksha. And viruddham cha samyak darshanam antarena moksha palam prapyate. You know, dear friend, without knowing the truth, there cannot be moksha, period. Because how did we understand moksha as? Moksha as is something where I misunderstand myself. I mistook myself to be this body, and this body is mortal, and then I become sad that the body is becoming sick, and janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha is there. Birth is there, death is there. Okay, death is long way away. Then there is old age. Oh, old age is far away. Then there is dukkham. There is disease, vyadhi. So much is there. And vyadhi, disease. No, I'm very healthy. Yeah, okay. If you're very healthy, you can still become sad also. Dukkha is there. Sadness doesn't affect. From the growing child also can be sad. So these problems are there, and I have taken all this problem on myself. It's a mistake, my dear, and that mistake can only be corrected by knowledge. A misunderstanding can only be corrected by understanding. That is the whole crux of Vedanta. Didn't you listen to all the things Krishna was saying earlier? Like that, Shankara is saying here. Viruddham. Now, you can't say, your argument is opposed to this fact that without samyak darshanam, without proper knowledge, moksha is not possible. Okay. Okay. Viruddham cha. And then let's read the next sentence. Okay. And then we should finish it. Who would like to lead the next one? Yeah, Bhagya. Okay, both Bhagyas are there. Let's start with Bhagya, this one, Akula. Okay. Prakrita virodhascha
Prakrita virodhascha
samyak darshanam cha
samyak darshanam cha
prakritam
prakritam
karmanya karma yah pashyet
karmanya karma yah pashyet
iti atra ante cha samyak darshanam tasya eva upasamharat shreyan dravyamayat yajnat jnana yajnah jnanam labdhva param shantim ityadina samyak darshana stutim eva kurvan upakshinah adhyayah. Yeah, we'll stop there. So to the Purvapakshi statement that okay, let moksha be obtained by upasana. You have not been listening to me all along. Now Krishna himself says moksha is there from this upasanam, from this meditation. To that he says viruddham cha, he said no, without proper understanding moksha is not possible. And then finally Purvapakshi says, okay, I accept that also. Everything is true. Without knowledge there is no moksha, and upasanam does not give you moksha. Only knowledge gives moksha. All that I understand. But still the shloka is about meditation. But still, yeah, that's all. I agree with everything you say. But this shloka is about meditation. That's what Purvapakshi is saying. And then Shankara concludes by giving, hey, you have to look at the context. You have to look at the context. If you read a story in a book, suddenly you pick up a sentence, you may not understand the meaning of the sentence. You must know the story. What is the, what is the story about, etc. You must know. And you take a text, you must know what is being said in the text and what was said in the last chapter, what is said in the next chapter. Everything, if you know only, you can really interpret a sentence. So that is how literature works. That's how things work. And even a newspaper, the only reason you can read a couple of sentences in an article, you don't have time, okay, and you want to quickly scan the article, and you just read 3 sentences, you're done. I got the gist of the article. Why? Because you know the context, pandemic, everything you know. Okay, asymptomatic behavior, this, that, a lot about the pandemic, and so you can read just 2-3 sentences and then you can get the meaning, correct? But a person who knows nothing about pandemic and this and that cannot do that, cannot understand like that. So he says you must understand the context. You are missing the context altogether. So he's repeating that an argument he made earlier. And so you must look at all these things. And he says, therefore he says, prakrita virodaha cha. Prakrita means context. Virodaha means opposed to. It is out of context. Your interpretation is out of context. That's what he's saying. Samyak darshanam cha prakritam. What is the context is proper vision. Samyak darshanam. Right understanding is the context. Therefore, you can't suddenly bring meditation here. Meditation has a place, but you can't bring it here. That's what he says. And he reminds again. He says what? Karmani akarma yah pashyet. Iti atra. Karmani akarma yah pashyet. And then sabuddhiman manushyeshu. Correct? In that shloka. Karmanya karma yah pashyet. Akarmani cha karma yah sabuddhiman manushyeshu. That means what? Hey, that person is a wise person, one who knows that fact. That is what is being said. So he's saying, starting from shloka number 18 of this chapter and continuing through here, and then ante cha samyak darshanam eva tasya upasamharat. He is going to conclude with the same topic in shloka number 33. I mean 33. Shreyan dravya mayad yajnat. He's going to conclude same topic. Beginning also is same, ending also is same. That means what must be there in between? It must be the same thing. So how compassionate Shankara is. He's trying to tell us all these things, and he's reminding us so much. So 10 shlokas before you should read, 10 shlokas afterwards you should study. Only then you can really interpret. That is why studying the Bhagavad Gita is a catch-22. You really can't study. Why? Because I know nothing. Then what? You have to start. You're starting from nothing. Means what? But at the same time, you can go only shloka by shloka. You can't say, I will understand the entire Bhagavad Gita and then I come to shloka number 1 and try to understand. You can't say that. Because without shloka number 1, there is no understanding entire Bhagavad Gita. So catch 22, like driving, learning to drive, catch 22. Learning to drive. It's amazing that many people drive. And so you have to be licensed to drive in order to drive, but you have to drive in order to be licensed to drive. Catch 22. So that's why Shastram, Guru, etc. come into picture. And so he is saying that ante cha samyak darshanam. At the end also he's talking about that same jnana yajna, the discipline of knowledge. Therefore, and also he's quoting this shloka number 39. Jnanam labdhva param shantim. Shloka number 39, if you have your book, you can look up. 39 says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparas sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim nachirenadi gacchati. Correct? Number 39. Jnanam labdhva. Jnanam labdhva means what? Labdhva means having gained. And then jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge. Okay. Having gained knowledge. So he doesn't say upasanam kritva, dhyanam kritva. He could have used that word. Nothing wrong with using that word. He could have used it. But he doesn't say that. He's constantly talking about knowledge only. Therefore, ityadina samyak darshana stutim eva kurvan. In this manner, having continuously praised knowledge and having talked about knowledge of Brahma, correct? Okay. Upakshinaha adhyayaha. Adhyayaha means chapter. Upakshinaha concludes. The chapter concludes in this manner. Correct? Having explained like this, the chapter concludes in this manner. And now let's see the next. We'll conclude chanting the next one. Okay. Who would like to be? Bhagyashree said, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to chant from Tatra. Tatra.
Tatra.
Anupapannam. I'm sorry. Akasmat.
Akasmat.
Arpanadau.
Arpanadau.
Brahma drishtihi.
Brahma drishtihi.
Aprakarane.
Aprakarane.
Pratimayam.
Pratimayam.
Iva.
Iva.
Vishnu drishtihi.
Vishnu drishtihi.
Uchyate.
Uchyate.
Iti.
Iti.
Anupapannam.
Anupapannam.
Tasmat.
Tasmat.
Yatha vyakhyātarthaha.
Yatha vyakhyātarthaha.
Eva ayam shlokaha.
Eva ayam shlokaha.
Right. So he's concluding the bhashyam of the shloka in this manner. He's concluding. What did he say until now? He says, well, jnanam stauti. By all these shlokas, he's only praising knowledge, he's only talking about knowledge. Jnanam labdhva param shamtin. Like that, he's talking about having gained knowledge, all that he said. And then he's concluding, Tatra, therefore, this being so, Anupapannam. You bring the last word. Anupapannam. Anupapannam. Your argument is untenable. Your argument is not acceptable. Okay? Tatra, tasmat, your argument is not acceptable. What argument is not acceptable? Akasmat arpanado brahmadishtihi. Akasmat. Without any logic, without any reason. Okay? Suddenly, out of the blue, you bring in meditation. What is it? Arpanado brahmadrishtihi. You say project Brahma on all these things. Akasmat, without reason. Aprakarane, without context. Okay, aprakarane. Prakaranam means the whole text, context. Aprakarane, without context. Like the Vishnu Drishtihi. You gave the example of Vishnu Drishti. Well, Vishnu Drishti is important, but you can't bring that here. You can't use that. You should not interpret the shloka in that manner. And so that is Anupapannam. And Anupapannam is the main word here. Anupapannam is untenable. Your interpretation is not acceptable. Anupapannam. Okay. So I'm not explaining every word. I think you can pick up some of these words. Pratimayam iva Vishnu drishtihi. Pratima means a murti. In the murti, just like we visualize Vishnu, like that you cannot, that is, you cannot visualize Brahma in all these arpanadi, in these instruments and Agni, etc. You can't. That visualization is not being talked about. Here, what is talked about is actual vision of the cloth as cotton, 100% cotton, and all these karma ityadi is Brahma. It's a fact to be understood. Meditation we can always do. There are many meditations. Let's talk about it. But this shloka does not talk about meditation. Therefore, tasmat, therefore, last sentence, last short sentence, tasmat, therefore, yatha vyakyatartha eva ayam shloka. Therefore, this shloka, ayam shloka, this shloka of Krishna has to be interpreted exactly as I have explained to you. Correct? He's concluding. So therefore, this Bhashyam we have completed. And so what is the conclusion of this Bhashyam? By saying Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, Krishna is saying Mithyatva Darshanam. So the Satyam and Mithya has to be brought in. And you must see the ladle as Mithya. You must see the Agni as Mithya. You must see the Karta as Mithya, the doer as Mithya. And then what do you have to do? Satya, Drishti, Darshanam. You must recognize Satyam. That Satyam is Brahma. That is what is the highlight here. Brahmatva Darshanam. And that is vision. That's why Satyam Mithya. That is why early on in the Bhagavad Gita also, in the introduction, we talked a lot about Satyam and Mithya. We talked about what is this journey of Bhagavad Gita. Introduction, second chapter also, we spent a lot of time. And so that's why sometimes when somebody suddenly jumps into the class and it's already third chapter, fourth chapter, then they may, if they don't have the background, they may be somewhat confused. What is this Satyam? What is Mithya? I've never heard of this before. So we have to learn these things. Sometimes we have to go back and review some chapters. So that Mithyatva Darshanam, understanding Mithya is what this shloka is talking about. And so that is how the Bhashyam works and commentaries work. And not every commentary of Shankara for every verse will not be like that. Some verses are very small commentaries. He doesn't explain anything. Maybe one word he will give a meaning and then he will move on to the next one. Okay. So don't think all his commentaries are this big after every shloka. It's not like that. And so at least the teacher should have studied all this. We don't, every student of Bhagavad Gita need not study Shankara Bhashyam. Okay, don't get, but remember what Tattvavidanandaji said just a few months ago. If you, some of you have seen that, who's heard this, his interview on Advaita Academy, and yeah, Saraprasad and others. So he's very clear. He says, no, you should not study Bhagavad Gita without Shankara Bhashyam. He's even stricter. He doesn't even give that allowance to us. But minimum, teachers should study. Teachers should understand Shankara's vision, and should not be like that person, right, who approached Swamiji. And what did he say? Swamiji, I'm going to the US and I'm going on a talking tour of the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, excellent. Fantastic. Congratulations. I've been teaching for so many years. Nobody invited me to America. You got invited. Fantastic. What do you want? How can I help you? And he says, teach me Bhagavad Gita. Teach me Bhagavad Gita. What? Teach me Bhagavad Gita. Okay. A guru cannot say, somebody says, teach me Bhagavad Gita. They can't say no. And so, yeah, sure, I can teach you. But you know what? He says, no, teach me just 10 shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita. 10 most significant shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita. Swamiji said, why 10 most significant shlokas? I can teach you the entire Bhagavad Gita. Why stop with 10? No, I have only 10 days to go to America. My tickets are all ready, booked already. So that is not the way to study Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So this Bhashyam, etc., there is a context for all that. And so that is how this Brahmarpanam concludes with the Mithyatva Darshanam, Brahmatva Darshanam, and talking about Satyam and Mithya, recognizing it very clearly. We'll continue this discussion with the next shloka in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.